bear that in mind when we are supporting this usul 355. Another point which Nick kacau betul, semua dah bolot, you know the point, tapi tak apa. Another point that is often raised is the fact that this law won't affect non-Muslims. Now, I don't know how many of you have bought paintbrushes recently. These days, there's a sign there in the hardware shop that says, "Semua haram." Beli kat kedai lain. Senang, because you don't know which paintbrush is with the bristles of a pig or not. So, basically, they've just put it, we don't want any trouble, let's just make it all haram. Easy. How many of you gone to McDonald's recently to celebrate your birthday? If you have gone to McDonald's and you're celebrating your birthday, make sure that cake dijamin halal oleh JAKIM. Because that's what it's become today, where we have to conform and to show our piety. So even the cakes that we celebrate our birthday, which has none of the business of the religious authorities, now becomes something that we have to take into consideration. How many of you here eat at Ninja Joe? Burger joint, sells pork burgers. Terpampang tulis kat situ, pork burgers. Yet somehow or another, a poor soul wanders in and wants to order a Ramli burger. And says he got confused because it said they're Ramli. Now I'm not sure who owns the word Ramli, but I'm damn sure it's not Muslims. And this is the problem, but these are small issues, really. They're nothing compared to what this could happen. Again, this is from Aceh in Indonesia. This woman, again, it's a woman who was selling alcohol, 60 years old, Christian, whipped under hudud law. Today they may say it doesn't cover Muslims. No, sorry, they may say it doesn't cover non-Muslims. But who's going to guarantee that it doesn't cover non-Muslims ever?
No guarantee.
No guarantee. And I want to ask you this. Just because you're Muslim doesn't mean that you are entitled to be discriminated, to be biased, to be subjected to a harsh law, because the Federal Constitution guarantees you equal protection under the law, equal treatment under the law, and this is a guarantee that must not be broken. So, a special message, just to wrap up my few minutes of fame here. A special message to my friends who are non-Muslims, who are Malaysians, who are trying to figure out where are they in this debate. Should they even bother? Because this is Islamic law and maybe they shouldn't because it has nothing to do with you. I say to you that it affects us all. If they tell you to shut up, tell them to shut up. Yes. And show them this side. Saya ada suara, saya bayar cukai. Saya seorang rakyat Malaysia, saya menentang ketidakadilan undang-undang. Make sure you say that, and you make sure that they do not shut you up, because you are equally at stake in this country just as much as your friends and brothers and sisters who are Malays. And finally, don't worry, not wrap up already. Finally, our friends who are our members of parliament. Are they here? They're not here, yes. I read in the media, they said they were not wanting to come. Tak apalah. Tak apalah. Kita kena hantar surat kat dia orang lah. Kita make sure suara kita kedengaran. Tapi make sure this. All of you are under a constituency. All of you have members of parliament, right? Yes. Do you know who your members of parliament are? Yes. Sure not. Yes. Some people never see them until pilihan raya lah. But you know them. I challenge you today to take a course of action after this rally is over. Find out who your MP is if you don't know them yet. Don't stalk lah, jangan jadi stalker kan. Find out their email addresses and service centre.
Parliament website got.
Ya, tapi outdated lah. Ya, ya. Tapi you cari, make sure you know, and you meet them and say, I want you to vote no to Hadi's Usul 355. Make sure your MP votes no, and tell them that maybe our politicians or members of parliament are busy thinking about GE 14. PRU 14, they're busy thinking, strategizing, trying to figure out how to win new seats or trying to keep their seats.
How to sleep with pass?
Well, I'm not judgmental. They can sleep with whoever who they want.
I am a voter and I have the right to be judgmental.
Okay. But most importantly, you tell them that while you are thinking about retaining your seat in the GE14, we today here are thinking about Malaysia's future. Malaysia of our children. And you remind them that if they want our votes, vote no to Hadi's Usul 355. Betul tak? No! Tak nak Usul 355? Tak nak Usul 355? Tak nak Usul 355?
Tak nak Usul 355.
Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And certainly comes from one of those political parties that I mentioned, and I hope he still wants to talk. Please give a warm welcome to Saudara Andy Yong.
Yay!
Andy?
Andy!
Oh, on the way. For those who don't know, he hasn't escaped, he's here. Andy is the Deputy Youth Chief for Gerakan. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Yong.
Yay!
Thank you, Azrul. Fellow Malaysians, my friends, I just now when I heard Nick spoke, practically she has covered everything. You know, whether it's the legal aspect or the spiritual part of it. So anyway, I understand as today why most people out there, they are against us, and those who consider against Hadi's bill are labelled as anti-Islam, or we are politicizing it for selfish agendas. And to the non-Muslim, I've received many calls, even threats, by saying that it's none of my business. Why am I interfering into the Islamic affairs? What I'm saying to them is, the reason why I'm against, or Gerakan is against Act 355 is because of inequality, injustice, unfairness, and most importantly is to uphold the supremacy of our federal constitution. So it is never about Islam. Islam is a beautiful religion. Allow me to share some of my experience over the last 2 years. Since 2015, a group of lawyers and myself, we have filed in a legal suit against the Sharia and Animal Code in Kelantan. And from my observation, the manner, the process of which Hadi's table is built over the last 2 years is very fishy. As Nick shared just now, initially, the very first motion tabled by Hadi basically is giving unlimited powers to the Sharia court. Meaning to say you can impose all kind of sentencing against Sharia offences. And subsequently, he added the word without death punishment. And last October, another amendment by using 30 imprisonment, 100 fines, 100,000 fines, and 100 whipping. So the question is, why? Why did Hadi amended so many times in this bill, Act 355? And if you really read through and follow what transpired in Parliament, each time whenever he tabled the bill, he did it discreetly. Meaning to say a lot of MPs, even from Barisan Nasional or even from opposition, they did not know when he's going to table it, how he's going to table it. So I call it disingenuous. He's not sincere. Legally speaking, if Hadi wants to push through the hudud law, he could have tabled to amend either the federal or the state constitution, which he did not. And also, he could have do it according to the federal constitution, Article 76A, to allow the implementation of hudud. And again, he did not do so. Why?
Back door. Belakang main.
The question is whether it's unconstitutional or not. I'm sure a lot of you have read through, have heard about it. Simply put, the very fact that by allowing Act 355 to be passed, it clearly allowed a parallel or dual criminal legal system. And that itself is against the federal constitution. And we cannot accept that. I must say that it is Hadi's democratic right to table a bill. As an MP, we are not challenging that. But what I'm saying is, as I mentioned just now, why you doing it so discreetly? Why you are doing it in a way that arouses suspicion? Something must be wrong. If you talk about being politicking, I think he is the one that politicking on this issue the most. If he truly want to champion the Islamic agenda or struggles, that shouldn't be the way. And last, I would say, my dear fellow Malaysians and friends, we know we have lived in a beautiful and peaceful country in Malaysia. And let us not let them ruin it. This is what we want. Indeed, if Act 355 or the bill is accepted, it will be hudud pass. And the reason why I mentioned hudud pass, okay, it's not hudud per se, okay? Hudud pass is because from day one, okay, the implementation, the ideas of pushing through this hudud pass is all from them. I don't think they have consulted any of the Islamic scholars or even the Conference of Rulers.
It's not Islamic.
Precisely.
UMNO.
I
No,
doubt
they
so.
didn't. They didn't.
They did,
Yes,
that.
I think
It's not.
he's working with Najib.
Later, after that.
I'll come to that. Don't worry. See, but I do not think, frankly speaking, madam, I agree with you. Okay, I agree with you. They are working with them. You see, but I do not think the bill itself, the amendment itself, they are working with them. I don't think so. Trust me.
Belakang ni have already support. Barisan Nasional MPs UMNO supported already.
I'm not the whole thing changed.
Well, again, I said it's all
Make it
being,
more acceptable.
Exactly.
Still not acceptable.
it's all politicized.
Yes, politicized. It is a
Say,
pass
madam.
and UMNO bill.
And I must say, okay, I know as much as many of you perceive or see me coming from Barisan Nasional. You see?
Yeah,
So,
I'm happy to see you here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your mandate.
Thank you. But I will say that whatever it is, okay, even from Gerakan,
What will you do with your Gerakan membership if UMNO and your bosses support this bill?
Good question.
thanks for the question, Mr. Gentleman. I can answer you. Okay, as it is, I firmly said that Gerakan, okay, until today, we will object to any bills or law that is violating the federal constitution. Even our MP, we will vote against.
Not good enough. We will broadcast this
My question
over the
is,
WhatsApp.
Yes,
What
please.
will you do?
I'm not a YD yet, gentlemen. Sir.
No, no.
You are not a YD.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Your membership. Yeah, your membership. You as a member.
My membership.
Yeah. What will you do?
And your question is, sorry,
What will you do with your Gerakan membership
if
if your bosses and party supports it?
I will resign. I will resign.
Sir,
Take my word, yes.
sir, you are on camera.
Yes.
And we are here today. Thank you.
In the event that if my MPs voted in favor of the bill, I will resign. Thanks, sir. I think that's enough for me. All right, thank you so much.
Member Pakistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Andy Yong. Please give him a round of applause. Hey, bukan senang nak datang petang ni, okey? Mamat ni keseorangan tau. So kita perlu kasih dia sokongan. Kita jangan dera dia pula kan. Tapi yang pentingnya ialah kita memastikan bahawa kawan-kawan dia dan juga mereka yang berada di barisan yang tidak begitu nasional waktu ini, agar mereka mendengar suara-suara kita bahawa mereka perlu undi tidak kepada usul Hadi. Betul tak? Dan kita kena respect dia lah. Kita kena respect dia. Bukan senang nak dapat ahli politik sebegini yang berani cakap depan kamera. Depan kamera. Kata, hai, janganlah, yo. Yang berani ke depan untuk memberikan pandangan beliau yang bercanggah dengan pendapat yang dia ada. So kita kena perlu cari ahli-ahli politik yang berani sebegini dan berikan sokongan kepada mereka. Betul tak? So penceramah seterusnya tidak asing lagi dalam arena aktivis di Malaysia. Mungkin anda sudah membaca blog beliau, iaitu The People's Parliament. We have a very respected, I'm not going to say old man of activism, but certainly a very well respected. Give a round of applause to Ibrahim.
Actually, that would solve the problem once and for all, isn't it? Let's take a practical look at what we have before us now. Is the 355 bill really a big issue, or are we jumping at shadows? I think the first thing we need to do is look at the numbers. This is a bill that is not going to amend the Constitution, so all that's needed is a simple majority to make it law. They need 112 MPs to support this. 112. Let's look at BN UMNO's numbers. BN has 133. UMNO has 88 MPs. So UMNO by itself cannot pass this bill. If you combine UMNO with PAS has 21. Okay, correct, yes. So now it's down to 14.
Yes.
So it's 88 plus 14, that's 102. Correct? They are short of 10.
Sarawak tak akan.
We don't know. It would have been good if Andy Yong would have been able to give us this assurance that the two Gerakan MPs would vote against the bill. But we'll have to wait and see. All right? So we've got UMNO plus PAS, that's 102. MCA has 7. MIC has 4. Gerakan has 2. Okay, that's 13 there. So if we add all those numbers up, it should be sufficient. Let's assume MCA, MIC and Gerakan refused to vote or even opposed the bill. Abstain. They need to find 10. With 2.6 billion of our money missing, and the culture amongst many of the MPs in not understanding their function in representing us, we have to assume that Najib and UMNO would be able to find that additional 10. All right? So that's my sense. That's my sense. So numbers-wise, my sense is that if they are serious about pushing this law through, they can muster up the numbers if they want. Okay, so but the question then that comes to mind for me is, are they serious about this bill? Or is this an effort because Najib is finding himself now, in terms of popularity, even in his own party, at an all-time low? And therefore, whether this is an effort to try and sort of, you know, at the same time as they push this bill, they will spin out there in media that Islam dicabar, martabat Islam dicabar, to get the Malays in the kampungs fearful, in order to shore up the votes come 14 GE. So, I don't discount that as a possibility. After all, if you take hudud in its most extreme, assuming you were to introduce hudud, including potong tangan, we will have an UMNO Supreme Council full of men and women without hands. So I can't imagine them being in a hurry to introduce hudud. All right? Now, but even if you take the view that this is just a ploy to get votes, the danger is this, and this is something that I have seen over the last 30 years. As they talk about this agenda, even if they are not serious about it, Islamists and their NGOs will ride the wave. And they will contrive situations that may finally leave UMNO and Najib with no choice but to push it through. So this is something I think we need to be extremely aware that even if they're not serious, the whole thing may overtake them and others may hijack the agenda. Okay, so if you ask me, I think we have every reason to be concerned. Now, the bill has been whittled down. Today it is just 30, 100, 100.
Only?
Oh yes, just.
Yes.
It's only just. All right? 30, 100, 100. I think I want to address first the Muslims and then the non-Muslims as to why we should be concerned about this bill. I think about 2 or 3 years ago, when Negaraku organized a series of forums through the country on the hudud issue, I was invited to, and I spoke in Seremban and I spoke in Malacca. When it was announced that I was going to be speaking in Seremban, on my Facebook, I got messages PM to me saying, mati engkau. Mati engkau. That, you know, kita akan datang ke Dewan tu dan kau kena belasak. Now, what I shared at that forum was this, and I'm just picking up from where Nick Elin left off. My study of this whole issue bears out this. The word hudud in the Quran appears 13 times. Hudud, its root word is had. And we should be familiar with this because you'll see had laju on the road, speed limit. So hudud and had in the Quran refers to limits. Now in those 13 verses, not once does it refer to punishment. For example, in terms of relations between men and women, Allah will say, in this situation, this should be the given application. And then it ends with, and these are the limits set by God. So I was troubled. I was troubled because I said, where is past getting hudud punishment, and they keep calling it hudud Allah. It's hudud Allah. So at the forum, I said this. I said, look, I'm not a Muslim scholar, but I am terrified that one day I must face my maker, And he will say, look, you could study books on law of injunctions and trespass and what have you. And here was 13 verses very clearly having nothing to do with punishment. And when PAS wants to push hudud Allah, you kept quiet. So I said, PAS, the speakers were there. I said, you betulkan saya lah. To me, there is nothing in the Quran that suggests hudud relates to punishment. And this is what they said in the forum. Hudud is a product of fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence. Intellectuals. This is the product of men. That's it. Okay? For me, when I read the Quran, what I see is again and again and again, God enjoining us to forgive, to forgive, to forgive, and to forgive. But this bill and the law that has been put in place doesn't allow for that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they are making themselves gods. And why should I bow to them? Let me just share this with you. Let me share this with you. Some years back, during the fasting month, I was traveling from Kuantan to KL. And in the Quran, God says, if you are ill or on a journey, you may defer the fast. So I was traveling from Kuantan to KL, and if I don't smoke in the car, I'll fall asleep. So I said, I'm not going to fast. And I stopped in Bentong. Went to a cafe, sat at the back, ordered my lamb chops. When two pegawai pengat kuasa came in and asked to see my IC, I asked him why. Nak mengenal pasti sama ada Encik Islam. I said, don't need to show you my IC, saya Islam. Asked to see my IC, I refused. Meanwhile, my lamb chop is getting cold, and it's no fun eating cold lamb chop, so I continued to eat. And they asked me again, and I said, look, I've already told you, dia kata, pulang puasa Encik tak boleh makan. So I said, dalam Quran, Tuhan izinkan saya tunda sekiranya saya dalam perjalanan atau sedang uzur. And he says, tetapi undang-undang negeri, I didn't allow him to finish. I said, mana yang lagi besar? Oh, saya tak tahu. Saya tahu, I said. Saya tahu. Now, they left the shop and I thought they were bringing reinforcements. So I said, I better finish the lamb chop. They never came back. Okay? Now, I can tell you some horror stories. 1999, when I was in the Alustar High Court, another lawyer who was in the Sharia court, who today is a High Court judge, came and saw me and told me this, Haris, I'm shocked. He was just approached to defend 6 transvestites, who the previous night were part of a private beauty contest. The event was raided by Jabatan Agama. They were all detained, taken to the office, and forced to give oral sex to the officers.
Oh my God.
The following day, they are brought to court and they are charged. And they told this lawyer this. The lawyer called the prosecutor, said, I want to see the judge in chambers, told the judge what happened. Prosecutor spoke to the officer. Officer went and spoke to them and said, you don't press charges, we drop the charges. This is not my Islam. And I'm sure this is not the Islam of every Muslim here. Betul? So, we cannot keep quiet. We must not remain silent. Okay, the voices of Jamal Yunus, an embarrassment to mankind, occupies public space every day. Our voices must be heard. We cannot remain silent. Non-Muslims, I think it was in the early 70s that the azan became the norm, 5 times a day. And I still remember even then some people saying, Ayah, it's not so bad lah, 5 minutes, okay ma. 5 minutes, it makes me wake up in the morning, okay ma. It's quite melodious, okay ma. But you notice something these days? After the Maghrib, or even, I think it's Maghrib, after the Maghrib prayers, the lecture that follows is on loudspeaker. But you guys are keeping quiet, you only sit in the pubs and the kopitiams and you bitch and you complain. It's not going to change.
Exactly.
Your space is being encroached on, and the best you can do is sit in the pubs and bitch, bitch, bitch.
Yes.
Nothing's going to change. It's called, you know, tonight, if one of you, non-Malays, you have intruders in your house, you peep through and you see 3 Malays coming through. I hope you're not going to call Azira and tell Azira we have Malays encroaching into our house, we don't want to apprehend them because it may become a race issue. Can you come and catch them for us? This has to stop. Fighting this battle by proxy has to stop. It's our battle. It's about taking ownership of this country. Our forefathers fought to give us a country of a nation of people all equal. But we have sinister forces out there trying to change this. We have to stop it collectively. Now, how do we do this? I see it this way. Sorry? Tak dengar? Okay. Well, Pak Ali in the kampung is not reading your Facebook. You're not reaching out to the people we need to reach. Yeah? Guys, short term, I'm going to take from where Azrul left off. Go to your Muslim opposition MPs, particularly from PKR.
Yes.
Go in numbers to their bilik Gerakan. Bring the media with you and ask them to pledge openly that they will vote down this bill. No SMS, no emails. These guys are shameless, and so we need to confront them openly on this issue. Take ownership. If they are not prepared to pledge, tell them don't even bother to contest GE14.
Yes.
We have to do this.
Yes.
That's short term. Long term. Bill 355 is just the symptom, not the disease. The disease has been plaguing us for the last 50 over years. UMNO BN. Must go. Must go. Rafizi Ramli has got a brilliant initiative going. InvokeMalaysia.org. Please go there. Please support. This is our last chance. Guys, take this bill seriously. For 30 years, starting from 1988 when Mahathir amended the constitution to introduce Article 1211A, Islamists seized on that amendment to now insist that the Sharia court was on par with the civil courts.
Precepts of Islam.
Correct. Okay. Now, actually, if you look at the article, it's very benign. It doesn't go so far as to do that.
Oleh dua lelaki yang cukup besar mengheret masuk Black Maria last year, right? Telah ditahan di himpunan apa? Demi Malaysia, himpunan Demi Malaysia. Tapi walaupun dia saiz dia tak begitu tinggi, tapi ini cukup fierce dan passionate dan commitment. Berikan sokongan kepada saudari Azira Aziz.
Terima kasih semua. Okey, masa saya diminta untuk menjadi salah seorang yang berucap pada hari ini, satu, saya macam blur sikit nak cakap pasal apa sebab banyak sangat orang-orang yang the speakers are quite qualified, jadi macam lagi banyak kot. Jadi saya boleh kongsi pengalaman hanyalah sebagai pada tahun lepas juga saya juga bersama dengan Mansur, Hasbi Mas Putra dan juga Hazwani bersama Siti dan Pairis Jenah. Kita filekan we filed non-contentious application in court untuk membantu judicial review di mahkamah untuk membantah pemfailan usul. At the time it was still called hudud bela. Dia cakap ini usul hudud. Time tu bukan bahasa memperkasakan mahkamah syariah, masih lagi bahasa usul hudud, undang-undang hudud. So kami filekan, and dalam perjalanan kamu semua dah tahu apa yang jadi kan. So yang saya cuma nak kongsikan adalah pengalaman kami sebagai salah seorang daripada 4 plaintiff pada masa tersebut. Sebab pada masa tu it's completely unthinkable. Tak ada siapa yang berani nak buat satu tindakan yang saya seorang Melayu Islam, saya tidak bersetuju dengan sebarang usul hudud ataupun pemerkasaan undang-undang syariah. Sorry to our friends who don't speak Malay, but I'll get to that. So, jadi pada masa tu kami semua macam bincang, it was unprecedented. Saya jujurnya, I was scared still. Saya sangat takut pada masa tu. So, saya takut apakah reaksi masyarakat, apakah reaksi ahli keluarga saya, apakah reaksi kawan-kawan saya sekali. Sebab pada kami masa tu, your attitude is don't rock the boat. Jangan bising. Saya juga sebelum pada itu, saya juga berbincang dengan bos saya. Apakah efek kepada kedudukan saya pada masa itu, masih pekerja kontrak jawab awam. So, dalam perjalanan itu, alhamdulillah saya dapat sokongan yang sangat kuat daripada bukan saja daripada rakan sekerja tetapi juga daripada kawan-kawan sendiri. Dan antara cabaran yang saya nak highlightkan adalah bahawa betapa kuatnya tekanan yang kami terima sebab kami dapat ugutan bunuh, ugutan rogol bukan saja pada saya tapi kepada ahli keluarga saya. Ada orang yang datang pada ahli keluarga saya masa saya tak ada, kamu kakak pada si Azira ke? Dia tu murtad tau, murtad. So itu memberikan satu cabaran kepada kami lah. And bagi saya itu bukan cara dialog yang saya mahu. Untuk negara saya. Bagi saya, tujuan saya filekan bersama-sama dengan rakan-rakan saya dibawa bersama Siti dan Faris Jinnah pada masa itu. Dan juga tujuan saya sebagai antara mereka yang menumbuhkan pergerakan bebas ini adalah kerana saya percaya bahawa Malaysia adalah untuk semua rakyat Malaysia. Bagi saya tidak bersetuju dengan pendapat bahawa negara hanya kerana di dalam perlembagaan persekutuan ada Islam is the official religion, kamu nak kata kena laksanakan undang-undang syariah hudud atau undang-undang syariah dalam interpretasi sesetengah orang. Bagi saya, kalau kamu benar-benar sebagai seorang ahli parlimen, wakil rakyat, kalau kamu benar-benar jujur kamu mahu melaksanakan the real essence of Islam, social justice, kesamarataan antara semua rakyat, semua manusia. Kamu tak perlu labeling Islam, hudud, syariah semua. Kenapa tak masukkan usul tujuan? Salah satu contohnya lah. Hukum, misalnya seorang pembunuh bunuh seseorang. Salah satu daripada fiqh dalam Islam adalah keluarga mangsa bunuh tu boleh memutuskan sama ada dia boleh memaafkan si pesalah itu ataupun cakap aku takkan maafkan kau kena hukum bunuh juga. Kalau kamu mahu contoh benda tu dimasukkan, kenapa tak pindah je kanun jenayah membenarkan keluarga mangsa untuk memaafkan si pembunuh supaya tidak ke tali gantung. Tu contoh pertama. Sebab bagi saya kita ada sistem civil sedia ada, a bit akademik lah. And then kedua, kenapa saya membantah tak nak usul 355 adalah kerana dalam semua kenyataan yang dikeluarkan oleh Parti PAS dan Presiden Hadi Awang ada tak sekali dilaksanakan pembuktian bahawa keberkesanan undang-undang yang dicadangkan tu. 30 tahun penjara, 100 kali sebatan, 100,000 ringgit denda. Mana dia contoh ataupun presiden judicial presiden yang membuktikan it was effective? Ada contoh diberikan? Tiada. Yang dibagi apa? Somalia, Nigeria, Yemen. Negara-negara yang bagi saya bukan saja sangat berlainan daripada budaya, daripada masyarakat majmuk kita dan segala-galanya. Just so different that it boggles the mind. Sorry, I'm not exactly the rah-rah kind of speaker. I'm more academic nowadays. But the point is, saya sangat gembira pada hari ini kerana saya nampak muka di sini bukan muka from a one specific homogenic group, tapi semua muka semua masyarakat majmuk di Malaysia. Semua yang datang atas inisiatif sendiri, daripada Jawa pun datang. Dan saya sangat hargai itu sebab ini buktinya segala perkara perik yang saya lalui tahun lepas dan juga kami semua bagi pihak bebas juga rasa macam kami dihargai sangat. Terima kasih sangat-sangat. You expected maybe 10-15 people will come. You know how Facebook invites work, right? 50 orang reserve yang datang 10 kerat je kan? But Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. I cannot emphasize enough. And I would also like to tell you, so far kami dah hantar surat yang the open letter to MPs, kami ada balasan. Quite a number, especially the Sarawak block has affirmatively replied no to tak nak usul 35. Kami masih lagi menunggu daripada MP-MP di Semenanjung Malaysia. Jadi saya minta sangat-sangat bagi pihak penganjur dan kami dibebas untuk teruskan menekan ahli parlimen kamu semua untuk berkatakan tak nak usul 355 bukan saja di domain awam kepada pihak media tetapi paling utama semasa sidang parlimen yang akan berlangsung tidak lama lagi. Terima kasih semua orang.
Thank you, Azira.
Thank you, Azira. I want to ask something from you. I want you to look at the person you're sitting next to on your left and right. Look at that person. That person is going to be with you while we are fighting this struggle. Believe me, we are running a marathon here. You know, the other guys have huge resources. Supposedly, they have 200,000 people at Padang Berpok, but here it's only 8,000. And we are always going to be in a minority. It's always going to be that we're the underdogs. It's always going to be that we need to fight against loud voices who are trying to shout us down and imposing their will on us. Yeah. We have quality, exactly. We have strength. We have integrity.
We have intelligence.
Well, yes, we have intelligence. But most importantly, I have to stress to you today, we have each other. We as Malaysians need to look and support each other on this issue. Because only we can make a difference. Only we can change what is happening today. We need to not continue on with our politics or divisiveness of finding fault with each other, but instead trying to build each other up, especially on these sort of issues. Find strength in each other. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know that Bebas was just recently formed. And we are just kecil-kecil lah, baru 2-3 orang. So I'm doing a little bit of promo here. Join Bebas. Join us in trying to fight for a country that is secular, that is fighting against religious tyranny, that is fighting for respect for all religions and for non-believers. Join us. And I would like to ask at this point, we are going to pass a bag around you all in a surau style manner to collect donations, because we're only running this from our own pockets, and I really help if you could help us recover the cost but also be able to organize future events. So please, we'll pass the bag around by our lovely Bu Sulinda, and please donate generously.
Terima kasih para penganjur, para hadirin yang hadir pada hari ini. Sebelum saya mula, saya nak cek kamu semua di perhimpunan yang betul. Ini himpunan tolak usul pindaan Rang Undang-Undang 355. Lepas ni kamu semua tak boleh masuk syurga tau. Just nak bagi tahu dulu.
Okey, syurga tu dengan Hadi tak nak lah.
Nama saya Vince. Saya kafir. Mereka kata usul 355 ni tak ada kaitan dengan non-Muslim, tapi bagi saya ada. Dulu saya suka seorang gadis Melayu lah. Di Malaysia, Melayu tu mesti Islam lah. So kalau saya nak kahwin dengan dia, saya kena tukar agama lah. Kalau tak boleh lah. Tapi dia tak suka saya sebab saya makan babi. So masalah ni akan RUU ni affect saya. Sebab kalau saya nak keluar dating, nak pegang tangan dia, nanti kena tangkap kawat, nanti kena sebat.
You tak kena.
Dia kena lah. Tapi kalau saya kahwin dengan dia, saya kena jugalah. So isu ni memang berkaitan dengan semua rakyat Malaysia. Bukan saja terhadap satu golongan. The big picture is this. There is a rise of conservatism in Malaysia and also globally. You will see the rise of right-wing national movements. Donald Trump in the US, Rodrigo Duterte in Philippines. And such global politics trend will affect Malaysia eventually. And we are seeing this. It is a fact. But the question is, what are we going to do about it? Here, each and every one of us here are not here just shot sendiri under the sun. We are here to do something, to send a message for those who cannot speak out. We speak out today for each and every one of Malaysians who want a much better Malaysia, a Malaysia that is not a Taliban state, a Malaysia that has a place for each and every one of us. But that Malaysia can only come if we speak out today. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to take our campaign further than this. We need to tell everyone what is RUU-355. Today I entertained one of my friends who came from Penang. I brought him here to the rally today. He has a flight to catch in Subang 5 o'clock, so he went back early. So he's apolitical. But after explaining what is this 355 to him, he realized and he support us. That is all the small steps that we need to take to explain to people what is this and what are we fighting for. And it is only via this way we can educate more people, empower them, take action, and make change happen. Let us look at this. I'm sure that we still live in a culture of fear. Young people afraid of speaking out because their parents tell them, don't go for this rally, that rally, you might get yourself arrested. I was a former political detainee. In my final year in University Malaya, I was detained 3 days, 2 nights in Jinjang, 124B. Activities detrimental to parliamentary democracy, they say. Just because I have a press conference, tangkat najib. So we are living in a crazy state. Laws can be abused. What is the guarantee that this new amendment will not be abused by those who are in power? So let us look at this. I see a lot of people voicing out on social media, but they are not here today. We need to reach out to them, empower them, come out. More of such events to come. More people speaking out. And on the day where this bill will be tabled in Parliament, which is has for the first reading, or for now up for the debate, all of us should go out the gates of Parliament and protest again. What do you say? Yes! Do you want your voice to be heard to the whole entire Malaysia and the world? Yes! Then we have to go in front of the gates of Parliament when this law is debated. Yes or no? Yes! And with this, I think I've spoken enough. There are more exciting speakers next. So I say thank you to all of you all who sit here under the hot sun today. I will see you outside the gates of Parliament when the law is debated. Thank you.
Vince is available. So he's very cute looking and he graduated. Apa? Second apa? First class?
Apa nak? Dah lawyer dah tu.
Lawyer. Jangan lawyer buruk. So macam mana? Dah panas? Cukup panas kan?
Cair dah.
Cair dah. Kalau pakai makeup dah turun dah. But please give yourselves again a round of applause for being here. Thank you for being here. Terima kasih kerana berada di sini. And you are still here. Daripada pukul 3 tadi sampai sekarang you masih lagi kat sini. Kira cekal lah. You tak pergi padang merbuk dengan nasyid. Tapi you ada di sini. And I would like to just say to you that your determination, your commitment to be here means a lot to all of us. Because it gives us hope. Hope that it is possible. It doesn't take that many people to make a difference, to make a change. And I want to introduce to you the next person, who you all know. I swear to God, whoever doesn't know this person is living in a cave somewhere. Because this person is a rock star. She is making a difference and helping those people who are most vulnerable in the places where we've never been. It gives her an excuse to night these 4x4 Land Rovers. And I can tell you she's a badass. So, to speak on this issue, RUU-355 with no BS, allow me to bring to you the venerable Siti Kasim.
One more time! Yeah! Okay, right, you recognize this picture or not? Ni, siapa ni? Okay. Look at my breast. Wow. Here. Okay, siapa ni? Tungku, huh?
Not biryani.
And what does it say at the back? Read it out loud. Exactly. That's what you all are. We are nothing without you all. Okay? Now, the problem being the last speaker, or second last, everything taken away already. So now I'm kind of blank what to say, but what I'm going to say here is that I noticed after my infamous action during the RUU-355 in past Jakim forum, you know, people are waiting for someone to say F you to these religious parties. Really. That's what I noticed. You know, I don't want to be famous or to be known, whatever. Really, I'm a very private person. Very private. Now, the thing is, you see, for me, if I can change one person's mind, just one person, for me, it's a success already. People are asking me, how many do you expect to turn up today, Siti? I said, I don't know, even one person is already, you know, one person protesting. So that is already enough. And the same thing with the orang asli. The orang asli are worse than us. They are more in fear than us. Now, fear is our number one enemy. Once you overcome that, we are home. Because we have all the rights under our constitution. I am a Malay. I'm a woman. I am a Muslim. I am born as one. I have no choice. As you know that. And not that I want to choose to opt out. No. But the way this country is going, in the way that they are portraying Islam, I do not agree with. I want to opt out. And this is what I've been advocating. Opt out from being punished if ever this country is going to adopt this RUU-355. This is, I have always said that as a Malay, I am the most oppressed. Even not second class, third class. Most oppressed. We are being told what to wear, what to drink, what to eat, even how to think. We are told everything, every aspect of our life, we are told what to do. This is why I wonder why the Malays are not rising up against this. I know some Malays are now beginning to speak up and they are coming out, which is super great. But we need more. We need more Malays to come out and say, no, you are not going to talk on my behalf. You are not God.
Not in my name.
Not in my name. Not in our name. Now, it is truly God's law. I will not go against it. But because I know for sure that it is not God's law. This is Hadi's law. Okay? So, my Chinese friends, my Indian friends, my Masale friends, my all kinds of races asking me, should I get involved, Siti? Should I get involved because, you know, we are not Muslim? But you are? Are you Malaysian? Yes. If you are Malaysian, you must say something. You must get involved because we are talking about our country. Yes. Not only Hadi Awang's country. So we must stand up against them. This is going to affect the fabric of our society. If we allow more Islamization, Okay, I put that inverted commas because it's not Islam per se. If it's true Islam, they are not going to catch people in the Kawat raid, you know, ambushing people. So some of them die because of the ambush. Yeah, and I'm so glad the couple recently going to sue the ass of Jaya. And this is what we want. I want to tell the Malays whoever you are get caught by these religious authorities, do come to me. We will do it pro bono. To sue the ass of these religious authorities. We need more courageous Malays to come out and fight these religious people, because what they are doing is unconstitutional. It is not following the law. Okay, so one must be brave. Not necessarily be brave, you know. Just stand up for your rights. Don't let people treat you like dirt. Don't let people stamp on you like you are nothing. We have a right. The federal constitution is our highest law. I'm not going to talk about the law because it's been talked about so many times. It's enough to say that RUU-355 the first time, it was clearly unconstitutional. The second amendment, it was still unconstitutional. This third amendment, it is constitutional. Mind you, it is not unconstitutional. You must remember that. He can actually propose this in the parliament. So you have heard now, many speakers have said, go to your MP, push your MP, and make sure that they vote against this RUU-355. Not only that, go back, talk to your friends, to your families, explain to them that this RUU-355 is not only going to destroy Malaysia as we know now, because eventually these Islamo-fascists, as I call them, everybody knows that I've called these people as fascists, because only fascists wants to impose their kind of version, whatever belief, into anyone else. Okay, so if they are not fascists, they will not try to impose it on us. Okay, don't be afraid. I have received many, many threats. Many. Okay, but because I believe in God. If I am meant to die that way, people kill me for what I believe, I will die proud. I will die happy. So, be firm, be strong, and throw away your fears, because only secular will respect everybody's rights, including Hadi Awang's kind of people. We will respect their rights, in which they cannot understand what respect means to us. Okay, they don't respect us, but it's okay. We respect their right to actually practice their belief. But they must respect our right not to agree with their version of Islam. So for now, I think, I hope, I am so out of, what's that, stamina, out of breath, man, terrible, me. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate for all your coming, and this is showing that we have strengths, we have power, and as what the previous speaker said, I'm not part of Bebas. If you want to know, I'm not part, but I support them. Okay, you know, this is great for Azrul and Azira to start this. So when Bebas do more of this gathering, especially during the parliament sitting, when they try to put Hadi Awang bill, I hope we all and more will turn up at parliament and actually show to the government that there are people who resent it. There are people who do not agree with it. And we must show them that we, Malaysian citizens, are not going to count under these so-called religious laws. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siti. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, give another round of applause to Siti Kasim. Don't forget to support the work that she does. There are not that many people who are doing it, with doing the work that she does with Orang Asli. So I certainly recommend that you please talk to her and support the work that is being carried out by her and her team.
Oh yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
Just one more. Okay. I want to say about this Orang Asli issues. In Kelantan, right? You know what, I think everybody knows, nearly all of you will know what is happening. How the state government is treating the Orang Asli, our indigenous people who are merely protecting our forests and the environment. How do they treat them? Instead of calling them to talk and really understand why are they protesting and all that. No! They instructed the Jabatan Hutan, the forestry, arrest them. Okay, and then they came up with stories. Oh, ada dalang luar. This is the leader. Of course, Siti Kasim is always the leader. You know, when I have nothing to do with it. I'm merely a lawyer. So is this an Islamic country? Government. Is this the way Islam teaching them to treat others who are the most vulnerable? They are the poorest and the most sidelined society in our country, and this is how they treat. Is that Islamic? I don't think so. So if they can treat the Orang Asli like that, imagine how they will treat others.
Thank you, Siti. Excellent contribution there. Excellent point, and thank you for that reminder. She brings out a very important point that I think we need to emphasize back to these so-called champions of Islam who seem to claim and speak on our behalf, but as Siti said, they do not speak for us. In fact, they don't speak for really that many Malaysians. They only speak for themselves and a few bigoted individuals. They seem to forget that in the reading of Quranic verses, one of the first things that's actually read is this phrase, which is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, which means dengan nama Allah yang Maha Pengasih dan Maha Penyayang. Before you read the Quran, this is what you read first. Let me ask you, in the so-called justice that PAS is trying to fight for, to establish in Malaysia, where is the mengasihani? Where is the mercy?
Yes.
Where is the compassion?
Compassion, none.
Where is the penyayang? Nowhere. And we can see that from the new cases, which Siti has mentioned just now, with the cases of religious officials barging into people's private homes, declaring a person to be offending Islam, declaring that they need to be fined and punished. Who are they? Who are they to judge people? If it is an offense, then it's between them and God, right? Yeah. But we have enforcers here who act in the name of God, and I say we reject them. Yes. We reject these people because they do not speak for us, they do not speak for Malaysians, certainly they don't speak for God, unless they got a memo from God, and said, you speak for us now. But anyway, we come to our final speaker. Don't worry, I know you panas, you're thinking about the root beer already, and nasi padang on that side. I know, I'm thinking about the ice cream on top, and the root beer, yeah. So don't worry. We have come to the last speaker, and this person really needs no real introduction. She's a columnist, she is a writer, and she has written on many aspects of what we discussed today, and many of those have been controversial because they make sense. They argue for common sense, they argue for fairness, they argue for justice, and she gets hate mail for it. She gets threats, and on the rare occasions, while she's out jogging, maybe she'll get somebody who says, I really like what you write. Can you sign on the back of my singlet? So, without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Bu Sulin.
Hi everyone, it's really great to see all of you out here today. I didn't expect so many people. I thought maybe a dozen people might turn up. So it's really great to see all of you. I'm glad that you had the courage to come here, especially our fellow Muslims who might have faced tremendous pressure from their families and communities not to come here. So for that, I thank you very much for coming. We stand here today as Malaysians who want to fight for our community, for our way of life, and for the soul of our nation. If Hadi Awang's bill to amend Act 355 is passed, Malaysia will eventually turn into a Taliban state. They will encroach into our personal lives and keep pushing and pushing until they force all of us, both Muslims and non-Muslims, to follow their rules. They will claim that because Malaysia is supposedly an Islamic country, all Malaysians, including non-Muslims, must follow Islamic laws. This has already happened in Brunei that implemented hudud. Even non-Muslims are not allowed to eat in public during Ramadan, and all shops are closed during Friday prayers. In Aceh, a Christian woman was whipped almost 30 times for selling alcohol. In countries like Afghanistan and Somalia, girls and women are stoned to death when they are accused of adultery. This will happen here if we don't stop the trend of religious fundamentalism. Do we want this to happen here? No! They are already oppressing us. People have been killed during Kawat raids. The religious authorities have even conducted Kawat raids against married couples, and according to one lawsuit, they seem to behave like thugs. Religious fundamentalists victimize non-Muslims too. They raid our businesses, confiscate the Christian Bible, and tell us to tutup aurat at government departments and even hospitals. Do we want to see this keep on happening? No! They force our children to eat in toilets at school during Ramadan. Yeah. They get more and more paranoid over halal issues to the point that sometimes I feel like I'm too dirty for them, as if my very existence offends them.
They are the dirty ones.
They tell us to balik China. They treat us like second-class citizens. They tell us not to interfere, even though they are interfering with our lives every single day. Yay! And yet, we are happy enough taking our money from non-Muslim taxpayers to fund their moral policing. If PAS really wants to increase Sharia punishments to 30 years jail, 100 strokes of the rotan, and 100,000 ringgit fines, then I say, let them fund the entire Sharia system themselves. Don't take money from non-Muslim taxpayers or from Muslims who oppose Hadi's bill. Let PAS and their supporters pay the salaries of religious officers who conduct Kawat raids. Let them pay for the cost of jailing people for 30 years over Sharia offences. Let them pay for everything. Don't tell us not to interfere and then take our money. I would rather that my tax monies go to things like education or healthcare. JAKIM got 1 billion ringgit last year. Religious departments in each state have their own budgets too, but we don't know how much or what they use it for. 1 billion ringgit would go a long way to help our public universities because they got a budget cut this year for 1.5 billion ringgit. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia is a secular country. Our forefathers, Tunku Abdul Rahman, have declared it so. This means that religion should not be part of the government. It means that all of us, both Muslims and non-Muslims, have the freedom to practice our beliefs, but not to impose them on others. And it means that the government, if people want to be religious, then they have all the right to avoid premarital sex or drinking. No one's forcing beer down their throats after all. No one's telling Hadi to pick up a mug of beer and to just chill. No one's doing that. But they don't have the right to impose their beliefs on us. Yes. The government should not be criminalizing victimless offences. Instead of increasing punishments for Sharia offences, Malaysia should reduce them. Why spend money and resources on moral policing? Why are we sending people to jail for consensual sex or for having a drink? That doesn't make sense. What are they doing that's hurting anybody? They say they say premarital sex leads to unwanted pregnancies and baby dumping. The solution is sex education, not whipping. How is a woman going to raise a kid if she's caned 100 times or sent to jail? What kind of trauma would she suffer? How can she be a good mother? The government should focus on things like corruption and the economy. Not go around poking into people's bedrooms. That is not what we pay taxes for. Yes. PAS claims they were causing trouble by opposing Hadi's bill. No, it is PAS who is causing chaos by putting forth this bill. Yes. It is PAS who is tearing us apart. Yes. It is PAS who will doom this country by forcing their beliefs down our throats. Yes. Yes. They are tyrannizing this country in the name of religion. They are threatening people who disagree with them. They act like they're above us when they're just peddling religion for political points.
Exactly.
Malaysia does not need lawmakers who make bad law. PAS has no business being in politics when all they care about is Hadi's bill. There is more to governing a country than acting like peeping toms who only have sex on their minds.
They are peeping toms. They are peeping toms.
We must fight Hadi's bill because it will worsen inequalities in this country. It will embolden those in power to discriminate against Muslims and non-Muslims who do not follow the status quo. It will enable the government to retain Malay privileges. It will allow the oppression of non-Muslims. If we want to be a developed country, then we must stand for equality. No one should be discriminated against because of their skin color or religious belief. No religion is better than another. We are all equal, are we not? Yes! A secular country protects everyone. Everyone is free to live their lives as they see fit without interference from the government. And no religion is prioritized over another in the state. It also makes it that much easier to fight for equality, which for some strange reason is a dirty word here in Malaysia. The reason why PAS and their supporters refuse to acknowledge that Malaysia is a secular country is because they want to impose their beliefs on everyone. They do not respect us, they do not respect our forefathers, and they do not respect the history of our country. Yes. Malaysia will progress if there is equality, fairness, and liberty. Hadi's bill will drag us back into the dark ages. Yes. I want to address our members of parliament. One of the reasons we are here today is because we do not see enough opposition from our MPs against Hadi's bill. Only DAP, Gerakan, MCA, MIC and Sarawak BN have said clearly that they will vote no to Hadi's bill. Everyone else has refused to make a clear stand. So I fear that the MPs who have remained silent so far will skip parliament or abstain from voting. This is extremely disturbing since UMNO plans to take over Hadi's bill as a government bill. So there's a very high chance of Parliament passing the bill. Let me tell our MPs now that if they vote yes to Hadi's bill, or if they abstain from voting, we will vote them out, both Pakatan and BN MPs in the next election. There is no neutral ground here. You either vote yes or no to Hadi's bill. And if you vote yes or abstain from voting, you don't deserve to be a representative. Yes. We need representatives who have the guts to stand up to injustice. We need leaders, not politicians. So I urge all of you here, after this rally, please call your MP and tell them to vote no. Drown them with phone calls, text messages, and emails until they pledge to vote no. Make sure that your voice is heard. We are the people and we will not be silent. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bosulin. I didn't know she had a fan club until you guys showed up today and started whistling her name and catcalling us. Pretty scary. But Sulin is one of those who suggested the formation of Bebas, and we're hoping that you'll join her and all of us to do the same. Now, we're coming to the final part of this afternoon's program, and then we can all adjourn to have chendol and A&W root beer. We have Azira and Sulin will be distributing. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
How many lashes?
We'll be distributing some rotans amongst you.
What is my crime?
Please, those of you who want to participate, please take one.
I want to be spared.
Don't worry, nobody's going to be hurt today. Maybe tomorrow. Please take a rotan.
Is this made in Malaysia?
Probably. Please take some. Thank you.
Okay, Siti, no need to get excited.
Ini rotan 355.
Jom spang. Spang my ass.
Let's do
Syariah macam ni lah. Presiden nak buat.
Okay, so can I ask those who have a rotan to come here to the center here, and those who don't have a rotan to bring placards, to bring posters. This is the photo op for today.